iPhone 16 Pro Max is only about a month away, and in this episode, we're going to talk about what to expect from that product. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. In this episode, we're going to talk about what to expect from the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Now, I'm going to talk about the very first thing here, and that's going to be a larger display. So this is the 15 Pro Max, and this phone's going to work fine for demonstration purposes because the 16 Pro Max is going to look very similar, just a little bit thinner with the bezels, a little bit larger, and definitely maybe slightly bigger cameras. We'll have to see about that. But 6.9 inches, this is 6.7, and so if you could imagine just a little bit more right there, that's how much bigger it's going to be. Also, this is going to get thinner bezels. So that's number two. As if these weren't thin enough, let's take a look at these. They're going to get thinner even. So these are already incredibly thin, but I think that all-screen iPhone dream is coming closer to a reality on the next one. Now, a lot of people usually say like, well, I don't really notice it. Like last year, these got thinner and they couldn't really notice a big difference between this and a 14 Pro Max. But even if it's like 0.4 millimeters thin or whatever, it's still getting closer to an all screen. Now, I don't think we're going to see Dynamic Island get removed from the iPhone 16 Pro Max, so don't expect that. We might see maybe a smaller version. That is a potential wild card, I feel like. Maybe that could happen. But definitely thinner bezels and a larger display, bringing it more in line with something like a Galaxy S24 Ultra, or even maybe the newer Pixel 9 Pro XL in terms of the size. Okay, so for the iPhone 15 Pro Max, we introduced the action button here, and that's been a pretty cool feature for some people. It's coming to all the 16 models, but we might see a dedicated capture button on the 16 Pro Max here in just a month. So like somewhere over here, it's definitely going to be on the power button side. That's usually where capture buttons usually are on Sony phones and other products out there that used a capture button in the past. Definitely usually over here, that just makes a lot of sense. So the buttonless iPhone thing, probably not happening anytime soon. But you can use already the action button to put it on the camera. Let's go ahead and open it up, see? And then you could actually use this to take a photo already. So you can kind of already use that action button to do that camera feature already, like that. So this is not like a guarantee. We don't know exactly if that capture button is going to come to fruition. But if it does, it would make sense because then you could use the action button for other feature like a flashlight, for example, or a shortcut. And then you could always remember to use the capture button as a dedicated photography tool. And I think Apple will do this because if you looked at the iPad Pros, they were talking about the Final Cut cameras and stuff like that. And definitely having that, this whole camera thing is a big thing that Apple talks about a lot, how great their cameras are, videography. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that comes to the 15 Pro Max. All right, guys. So we also are going to get the upgraded CPU. We have the A17 Pro here clocked in at 3.78 gigahertz, and we have 8 gigs of RAM. I don't know if Apple's going to go to 12. I think they're going to stay at 8 across the board. They're probably going to bring 8 to the base models and keep it 8 on the top models as well. I think they're going to wait till next year to go to 12 gigs of RAM. That's just how I think things are going to roll. Also, we will see an A18 chipset maybe across all of the iPhones, but A18 Pro will probably still go to the Pro and Pro Max. But I wouldn't be surprised either if we have another 13 year where basically we have the same chip across every single iPhone. That is a potential as well. But I think they like to separate these lines now between the premium and the base models. So I do feel like we're going to see some nice substantial increases, specifically on the area of Apple Intelligence. So the all-new Siri that you're seeing right here, in addition, the included on-device AI is what's going to definitely call Apple Intelligence, is why these CPUs are going to be really important this year and definitely going to push iPhone into the future with these really cool new features. So those chipsets are a game changer. They're crucial, and it's one of the reasons why a lot of people are probably going to upgrade to a 16, mostly because, and this is going to the people who don't have a 15 Pro and Pro Max. It's going to be a big upgrade year, I feel like, especially for those who want these new and enhanced AI features. So we're likely to see thermal improvements. I complained multiple reviews that my iPhone 15 Pro Max gets toasty. It started to get toasty in the beginning. It got better with some updates. And then when I tried the beta, it started getting toasty again. Of course, it's a beta, so I kind of expected that. But definitely the thermal management this can't sustain long-term gaming without a little bit of throttling. So due to the thermal management, they need to improve this, and I expect the 15 Pro Max to get improved on the 16 Pro Max. So definitely going to happen. I don't see us seeing a 16 Ultra this year, though. I do feel like it's going to be the 16 Pro Max once again. I just don't feel like they're going to an Ultra just yet. They might call it that when they go to the 17 or maybe a 17 Air or Slim. But I do feel like we're going to see just 16, 16 Plus, 16 Pro, Pro Max once again. 16 Pro Max is also going to be specifically designed with AI in mind, Apple Intelligence in mind. They're really going to push this at the event you're going to see very soon. This feature was announced at WWDC, but being their first phone specifically designed for it, this is definitely going to be a big selling point of the 16 Pro Max. And being that it's the most powerful phone, it's going to be the one that attracts a lot of customers who definitely want to try out the new stuff. It's top of the line, the creme de la creme is definitely the best of the best. And the 16 Pro Max is going to be something that drives this point really home, definitely having a lot more performance than before. I think we're going to see probably gains of over 30%, 20 to 30%. Which is going to be substantial for using Apple Intelligence. Now, the 15 Pro Max doesn't really have any issues running the new Siri, running the new Apple Intelligence features. They're definitely very useful and easy to do. But definitely, I feel like there might even be a wildcard new feature or two that is specifically only on the 16 Pro Max. That's a potential as well. Not 100% sure on that, but I do think there's a potential that we'll see a couple of features specifically only for those brand new phones. We're also likely to see included Wi-Fi get an upgrade too. So we're going to see Wi-Fi 7. In addition to that, you're likely to see upgrades to the 5G performance with new Qualcomm modems coming in here. So a big upgrade for connectivity coming in terms of speed and reception on the go should be a little bit better. So definitely that's something, if you use your phone as a phone a lot instead of just a computer in your pocket, like you make a lot of calls, you're relying on the 5G when you're out and about, it's going to be an upgrade to the 16 Pro Max. 16 Pro Max is also going to see improved low light camera photography. So we'll see that. And there's also a potential of better zoom with a potential super telephoto periscope lens. So we're going to see if they go further on the zoom this year. They just upgraded the 15 Pro Max here last year on the zoom, which was a major upgrade for the iPhone. So I don't know if that's 100% going to happen. They already have a 5X right here, 25. Apple's pretty slow when it comes to upgrading those camera features in terms of, their zoom and stuff like that. So that's not 100%, but there is a possibility of a longer telephoto zoom camera on the next iPhone 16 Pro Max. We're also going to see improvements to the battery life. We might even see the first time ever on iPhone is stacked battery technology, which is usually found in EV cars. They already have those now. We might see this for a first time in the iPhone. It's also going to enable faster charging. We might go up to 40 watts even on the next iPhone 16 Pro Max. So faster charging, stacked battery, better battery life overall with the improved CPU, better thermal management. We're looking at a really good battery on the next iPhone 16 Pro Max. This one was great too. I'm pretty happy with the 15 Pro Max, but a lot of people say that their capacity drains faster than they would like, but overall, it's been a really good performer when it comes to battery life. The last thing to expect is just a similar design to what you see here in this video in the 15 Pro Max. I'm only using this phone because it definitely looks pretty similar to what's coming. Like you're going to see a slightly larger, thinner, sleeker, but definitely going to be a very similar phone as the iPhone 15 Pro Max, but definitely a little bit more polished, bigger, and more refined. So not that they can do much more with the refinement until they bring maybe a slim or an Air version or even a foldable iPhone, which is when it's really going to get exciting. But definitely the colors, we're looking at maybe another gray or natural titanium. I expect a black, a silver, and maybe a rose color option. We're thinking maybe rose gold-ish color coming back to the iPhone. That might be the standout color this year, but that's always up in the air because a lot of times there'll be rumors about colors and then those colors never come to fruition. They never come to life. It's just some random other color, like some blue or something that we didn't even expect. So Apple's pretty tight-lipped when it comes to the color options of their phones. So that's it. That's what to expect from the upcoming iPhone 16 Pro Max. It's going to be a really nice upgrade for those with a 14 Pro Max, 13 Pro Max. I think for the 15 Pro Max, of course, the year-over-year upgrade is not going to be necessary, but definitely a luxury Once again, this is like a cycle every year. If you have last year's model, you should probably wait. If you have 2-3-year-old models, it's a potential good upgrade. If you have 3-4-year-old models, it's a definite go. But thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts on what you expect from the iPhone 16 models, what you want to see from them, and maybe if you've heard about some other things I didn't mention in this video, drop those in the comments below as well. I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to be well, and peace.